Thinking about starting over or pivoting your business to be an online business? Today, Jeanne Omlor talks to us about why it's never too late to start over and how she successfully turned her coaching business to an online coaching business that brings in over 7 figures each year.
Before I got online, I was deep in debt, solo parent, 2 children, and I was 54. And I woke up one morning and I thought, I have to fix this. I don't know what I would do next if this doesn't work. I can't go get a job. If this doesn't work, I'm not just going to keep paying for a bunch of programs. This has to work. So I made it work. So I turned into a business person out of necessity. So can you learn this? Absolutely. So I saw it as I just need to keep going till I figure this out. That's all. So if I have to have a million conversations, I will. I just was a beast. How you kick that fear is you just do it. Money is just a number. You just have to change the number.
If you've ever thought that you were too late to start, this episode will prove otherwise. Jeanne Omlor was a solo parent in debt, turned into a 7-figure business coach in just 17 months, and we're going to learn from her. So, welcome to the Growth Department.
Hey, Chelsea, great to be here.
So, tell us what life looked like before all of this madness happened. What was before that $1 million pivot?
Okay, that was a good madness. I think that before was the real madness in a bad way. Before I got online, I was deep in debt, solo parent, 2 children, and I was 54. And I woke up one morning and I thought, I have to fix this. This has to fix. And, things happened in life that got me there. Okay. Which wasn't a happy place. And I was really, functioning for my children. But that horrible anxiety where you just know, oh my gosh, this is not working. And every day there was this anxiety. What do I do? So finally I realized, I need to get online and I need to figure something out online because the offline thing was not working in the Midwest where I'd moved to. I have to do something. And I'm 54. So it's not like, I can wait till I'm 55, 56, 60, there's a, finite amount of time on this earth that we are, even wanting, are we going to get more energy when we turn 70 to start a business or do well? So a voice in my head said, if not now, when? And I thought, I don't know what I'm doing. So I found not a great program, but it was the only program I knew of because I didn't know online programs. There's a million out there, but I didn't know any. I heard about one and I thought, okay, it's $10K. I do want to spend $10K because you need to spend at least $10K to have high quality people in the group with you that are also betting on themselves. So I've always been that way. It's not do the cheapest thing. It's do the thing that's going to work the best because you want to put yourself in an environment that has a fighting chance. So I thought it has to be at least $10K or it's just going to be some cheapo thing. And I'm going to do this. So I plonked down $10K on 3 different credit cards because I was already in debt, as I said. And a woman in there said, look, a lot of people actually fail in here. She said, but I think you're going to be one of the thrivers because your personality. Because I'd asked somebody before I went in and she said, I would do it. And I said, okay. So I went in and I thought they were going to teach me Facebook ads. That's what they were teaching. I realized very quickly Facebook ads were not going to work. The writing was on the wall. I thought, this is not going to work. I'm going to be in such deep debt, building funnels, trying to make them work. I thought, this isn't going to work. I see it. I feel it. They said, oh, no, that won't work for you. You're correct. Ads really don't work for coaches anymore the way they used to. You have to do organic. And I said, like carrots? What's organic? I'd never heard that term about our marketing before. And I joked and I said, what do you mean like carrots? And they said, no, Jeanne, not like carrots. Organic marketing means unpaid. I said, wait, are you telling me that I can get clients on social media, i.e. Facebook for now and LinkedIn and Instagram without paying money for ads? And they said, yes, it's called organic marketing. Okay, that blew my mind open because that's how unsophisticated I was. I didn't even know. I thought, wow, okay, how do I do this? Where are the trainings? And they said, well, there's no trainings. I said, oh, okay, what do I do? And they said, go talk to people. And I just thought, that's it. I'm going to go talk to people. I'm going to figure this out because I have no choice. This must work. It was hard. That was the madness. It was 8 weeks. It seemed like an eternity, but actually looking back, it was 8 weeks, which seemed like a whole year to me at that point because I was just panicking. I thought it has to work. This doesn't work. Now I'm more deep in debt. And also not just about the money. It was, I don't know what I would do next if this doesn't work. I can't go get a job. If this doesn't work, I'm not just going to keep paying for a bunch of programs. This has to work. So I made it work, and I started getting high ticket clients. And the 8th week, I got my first client, and my daughters and I danced around the house, and I was crying because I thought this was so hard. Figured it out. People asked, how did you do that? Started getting a bunch of clients. And I was just building my program as people were coming in because I realized what they needed. And then COVID started 5 months later. I was already doing pretty well for me. 30, 40K months was amazing for me. And then COVID didn't hurt me. It helped, actually. I think we were already doing really well because we helped a lot of people put food on the table in COVID to start an online coaching without having to go out. It was a saving grace for a lot of people. And then I got to $1 million in 17 months. COVID was somewhere in that.
Wow. That seems very fast. What would be the, say, 3 things that you did in that first 17 months that you think set you up to succeed?
Okay, first of all, I found something that worked. And I did it over and over and over and over again. I didn't find something that worked and then immediately said, oh my goodness, now I'm going to start ads. I did test ads after when I had the system in place. But what I didn't do is the shiny object thing of trying to fix things always from the outside. It was, I figured this out and I was focused and it was solid. So I'm just going to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. Just selling the hotcakes over and over and over. That's what I did. And I had all sorts of insight from people. Why don't you do this? Nope, don't want to write a book. Why don't you do that? Nope, don't want to start a podcast right now. No, because you need to focus. So the number one thing I did was I focused on something that worked and just kept building that. Even Alex Hormozy says that. Get one offer and sell the same thing over and over and over again. I read that years after I figured this out. And I thought, well, there you have it, right there in his book. So it was focus. Figure it out, what works, and then don't immediately disperse and try to build and scale. You do not scale right away. Scaling, people don't understand the difference between building and scaling. They use scale interchangeably, and they don't know what it means. Scaling is after you have built something, then you look at how you can make more out of what you already have. You're scaling your time. You built the business. Now, how do we scale with what we already have? So they're not using the word scale properly. I use the word scale sometimes because people think that's what it means. And I'm just like, colloquially using it incorrectly because they think it means something else. But then I explain to people, actually, it's the difference between building and scaling. Okay, just as a business thing. So I focused and I just kept doing the same thing over and over. And I kept making my offer better and better and better and better. So I kept making it better and better and better, focused on it, and I worked hard. 3 things: focus, working hard, improving. 3 simple things that nobody seems to want to do.
It's true. Even podcasts, 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've done 3 or more, congrats. You're in the top 10%. Good job.
Right.
So how did you find the first thing that worked? Was there trial and error? Was it just you went into the class and in that 8-week course, you're like, this works within 8 weeks?
No, I just explained that didn't work. I had to figure my own gig out. So the coaching I got was go talk to people. That's not coaching. That's get out of our hair. We don't care. Figure it out yourself, which is what but I didn't mind because being in the environment, the other people were kind and encouraging, and that actually helped me a lot. That was literally what helped me in that program. I figured it out by speaking to 900 people in Facebook Messenger. 900 conversations. So this didn't just work. This is trial and error and putting in the reps. Again, most human beings don't want to put the reps in. But we all know hugely successful people put the reps in and they're not scared of that. I mean, look at sports people. They do the same play millions of times. Michael Jordan, look at, Edison. He did the same thing over, thousands of times. Scientists, they don't say, oh, you know what? I'm going to discover this, but I only want to do one experiment. Nothing would be discovered, right? So I saw it as I just need to keep going till I figure this out. That's all. So if I have to have a million conversations, I will. I just was a beast, just talking to people, seeing what they needed. And I figured out like all these conversations in Facebook Messenger, what people needed. And also I figured my market out because I started bumping into a bunch of coaches. And I just thought, wow, coaches do need help. And I struggled with that, coaching coaches, but I thought, wait a minute, I'm a coach. I understand them. I'm figuring this out. I was figuring it out. Actually, I was figuring it out and I got a client while I was figuring it out because, you have to get that first client, right? But I had so much insight from 900 conversations and I had 18 sales calls before I got my first client with this. So it wasn't like, oh, I had a couple conversations, it's not working and I'm going to do something else. I thought, no, this is going to work because there is something here and I will figure this out. I don't care how long it takes me, but I've got to do it fairly soon. So I just was a beast. So yeah, was that painful doing that, not knowing what the end result? I didn't know that was going to work out in 8 weeks. I had no idea. I didn't know. You don't know before something happens that it's going to happen. In that moment, I just thought, I'm just doing this and it's kind of like hell because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just figuring this out. I didn't have any coaching on it, really. There's nobody saying, oh yeah, go do that. That's going to work. Just okay, blindly. And I thought, wow, I figured something out myself and then I could teach other people that. Then they didn't have to have that many conversations because I figured out a system. And the shortcut is what people pay me for. Even though you have to do the work.
You do have to do the work. And part of doing the work sounds like a beast mindset.
Yes.
When you're starting out, is beast mindset something that you're born with, or is it something that you can learn at any age?
You can learn that because I didn't have a beast mindset for sure. I didn't have a beast mindset before. I wasn't, I was a sort of starving artist type, okay, for years. And I lived in Paris for 6 years in a garret like Mimi and La Boheme with no water. And, I used to go downstairs and I had a very bohemian lifestyle is what I'm trying to say. Living on the edge, on a shoestring. And I was quite fine with that because I didn't care about money per se, like to have money and wealth. I just wanted to be artistic and create stuff. Having children definitely changes your mindset about having to have money, right? That's a big motivator. But what I mean is in my earlier years, I was not at all a beast. Not at all. I was very shy. I was an actress at one point. I wasn't like I wasn't that, I auditioned, but I was kind of shy and I wasn't a business person, put it that way. So I turned into a business person out of necessity. So can you learn this? Absolutely. When I first started coaching 13 years ago, before the 6 years ago when I got online, because I was offline for 8 years and, it's not sustainable, just networking. That's just not. But when I first started coaching, my coach, because I immediately hired a business coach. I don't mess around. I'm like, I just need the help. I don't have time to waste. I've never wasted time in investing in myself or the business because I know how that goes. You're just going to try to figure something out you don't know why when you can just pay somebody. I was always paying for lessons, for singing lessons, for acting lessons, for piano lessons, for language lessons. I always invested in lessons, coaching to get help from other people. That's just the way I've always lived. So I already had that. This is starving artist type. These are not beasts like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, your Instagram had some great quotes and we'll link to it in the episode. But how to kick the fear of being seen was one post that I was like, oof, I'm feeling that right now. So what if you weren't a beast? How do you turn into this beast mindset that's doing all of these public social media things?
Now that's a good one because when I first started this, I was already at 30K months that I had not done a Facebook Live. Okay. And everybody's like, why aren't you doing They were big then 6 years ago. Okay. Maybe not so much now. I don't see as many lives now, but you can still do them. But it was huge, Facebook Lives. And all my colleagues were like, Jeanne, you need to do Facebook Lives. You'd be great. And I was a bit shy. And I thought, wow, oh my goodness, there's some mindset there. So I thought I got to do, and I was very like, oh my goodness, I got to do a Facebook Live. I was already at 30K months. I was already a beast at this, but I had been avoiding the whole video thing. And I thought, whoa. And it was working anyway, but I thought there's something in that. So I decided that I was going to do a Facebook Live no matter what, one Saturday. And I thought there's going to be zero excuse here. My kids were younger then, so we were doing errands and stuff. And I thought, okay, where do I do this? Because I will do this, and that's the goal. I have to do this. So I was in IKEA, in the IKEA restaurant, and my kids were playing on, the kids light up floor. And I thought, I have to do this now because that was my agreement with myself. So I plugged in my, these old fashioned earphones that I still use. And I put my phone on and I stood in a place where you couldn't see people. It was like so far away that I wouldn't be violating people's privacy because, you can't do that. So I stood by the window so the lighting was good. And I did my first Facebook Live in IKEA. And I was talking about how to get to 30K months. That was my first one. And so
Wow.
many people loved it. They said, that was so raw. You're in this restaurant. I said, actually, I said, I'm in IKEA right now. And they said, wow. So it was very validating for people. Just do it. And then I was known for like doing lives when my kids were playing basketball and I was like, in the stadium in the corner. And so how you kick that fear is you just do it. You just do it no matter what. You make an agreement and you just do it. It's the only way.
That's awesome advice. For adding video to your repertoire and how you were doing this organic marketing piece, it sounds like you used video as a way to supplement what was already working instead of replacing what was working.
Yes, exactly.
What else did you learn in the last few years of starting a business, doing organic marketing, and then supplementing as the times change?
Okay, so I already had a business for 8 years. So it was getting my business online, but I'd already had a business for 8 years. That was coaching, executive coaching, business, consult, that sort of thing. It was getting online and actually making it a very, business that works. So what did I learn about, well, let's talk about what I learned about getting online. I learned I should have gotten online a lot earlier. Okay, that's what I learned, is that if I had gotten online a lot earlier, my life would have been a lot easier and less hustle. So one regret that I didn't get on earlier, but things happen for whenever they happen. And, but I could have saved a lot of hassle counting on going to networking events and being out there. It's just unnecessary now when you can stay at home. And if you want to, great. But that's the old fashioned way. And that's usually because you're afraid of getting online. That's why I did it. I was afraid of getting online. And also I knew ads weren't going to work. I just knew it. Okay. So what I learned is ads don't work because I've since tested a lot of ads and I spent about $100,000 in ads. They don't work for coaches. They just don't, unless you have a huge budget or, you're Grant Cardone or Tony Robbins or somebody else. And, they have $1 million per month ad budget. So people say, oh, my ads are working. Then they tell me, and it's like, yeah, I'm spending $50 a day and I get 1 or 2 clients a month. So they're not actually losing money. That to me is not ads working. That's not a sustainable, using ads to sustainably bring in. That's just cobbling it together and not losing money, right? So I maintain that it's very, very hard for ads to work to a book a call kind of thing for a high ticket coach. They can work if they're self-liquidating and you're going to spend a lot of money and you maybe get people the free lead mag and get them on your email, but then you have to have a very, very built out, how to get them into your microcosm and then how to sell to them from there. And most people don't have that system built out of emails and offers and everything. So I maintain that ads don't work that well for coaches.
One topic when we're talking about you can start over at any age, do you have clients who come to you and face ageism in business?
I don't know if somebody's ever said that to me. However, I have had coaches come in who are not 30. I had a lady come in who was 65 and we helped her to get clients. Nobody said to me that they've had ageism. I haven't heard that.
Okay. Do you have any advice for someone who's either starting a complete new business later in life or has a business and wants to take it online later in life?
It's kind of the same thing. To me, it's all a new thing. So either somebody's been coaching a long while and doesn't know how to do this. That works. Either they haven't been coaching at all. It's still a new thing for people, or so it doesn't really matter. We coach coaches that are just starting. However, all of our clients are high achievers in some way. So maybe they're just starting, but they're people that will do the work. They're going to do the work. They've had other positions in life. We didn't used to just coach high achievers, but it's just happened that we attract that. Okay. So some of them are just starting their businesses. Some people are doing something else, but haven't created a coaching or consulting model. So we'll segue immediately, get the offer and just start. So yes, that's a new business, but in a way they've been doing other things. Then there are people that have never done any business at all, ever. And their first business is starting a coaching business. So all of that doesn't matter to me because our process works. We just get an offer, get that sorted, and then the process.
What kind of impact do you want to leave behind with now that you can reach many more clients being online? What kind of impact do you want to leave behind?
Well, it used to be that I wanted to impact, I think it was 1 million coaches or business people because I might not just coach coaches at one point. Okay. But now I have a massive transformative purpose that is beyond the coaching of coaches because I also work with people on my bigger life purpose. I have a 40-year purpose that started last year till I'm 99 to help as many people on this earth to thrive. So that's broad because I'm emotionally connected to helping people to thrive. I just got goosebumps. It's my thing because I wasn't thriving. And so that is part of the reason I've been able to sustain a business is because I have a motor that's driving me towards helping people make money. Making money is very important. It's underrated. When you make money, you're less stressed. You're paying your bills. You're helping your family. You're helping your kids. You can help other people, your church, charities, whatever. And you don't have that anxiety of how am I going to pay the mortgage or how am I going to do this? Then there's the fun stuff. People talk a lot about the fun stuff, but yes, you can afford a vacation without worrying about it. Great. Having resources is fun because you're just not worried about stuff. And if you want to spend money, great. If you don't, great. I'm not somebody that needs to spend, so I will spend money when I want, but I'm not materialistic in that way that I have to always be buying things to fill a hole. I'm not a shopaholic. But when I want to buy something nice, I buy something nice because I want to. So it's not even about the materialism. It's just important to have money, to have power in this world, to help other people. And it's important to have money so that you're not worried every day. I think that thing, I don't want the human beings to be worried every day because they can't be creative. They can't have fun. Like I wasn't having fun because I was just worried all the time. I was pretending to have fun. I put on a brave face, but deep down, I was just living in anxiety, and that is no way to live. So that's my larger mission. Now I have a new mission for the coaches. I want to create $100 million coaches now.
Wow.
And
100 coaches hitting 1 million.
get to 1 million on my watch because we've helped a lot of people make a lot of money, but I've never done it soup to nuts. Like, okay, we're starting with you now. You might be making some money, but because, I've gotten some clients to 400K in a year. And I thought, well, hang on, if I'm getting them 400K in a year, some of them, that's not a stretch for me to spend 2 years with people and get them to 1 million. And some people, their goal is to be $1 million coach. So I want to fulfill that with them. It's exciting. We're going to work together and you're going to get your actual dream because most people, when you speak with them that are coaches, they do want to be $1 million coach, right?
Yes. And then think of the ripple effect. What have you seen with coaches you've helped in the past, how that's impacting the rest of the world?
Well, the thing is, we don't just coach business coaches. In fact, I don't even have that many business coaches right now in my program. There's a few. We coach all sorts of coaches. We coach relationship coaches. We coach financial coaches. There's a tax consultant in there, and he's really great at saving people money and safeguarding their future. So we had a crypto coach at one point. We have real estate investment coaches, men's coaches, life coaches, spiritual life coaches, you name it. We have it. We've had fractional people have come in. So they're helping their clients. It's really about people with talent learning how to help people by getting that client and then servicing them. So yes, there is a huge ripple effect. It's not just helping my clients get money in the door. It's what happens when they're getting the money in the door. You're correct. That was a great question. The help they're giving because they've figured out how to avail their clients of their services. There are a bunch of coaches and consultants out there who are just the best kept secret. They're great at what they do, but they're not good at marketing themselves. Therefore, people are not getting their goodness of what they actually are geniuses at, which is helping them with various things.
Ripple effect is real. So what's next for you? You've got 100, you're going to find 100 companies to help hit 1 million. And what else are you working on?
I'm actually working on, I have a podcast. I don't know if you know that. So I am figured out how to get a bunch of subscribers on my podcast, and I'm working out another. We also help our clients monetize in different ways. But I'm figuring out how to monetize a podcast as well as with sponsors and getting thousands and thousands of views and subscribers. So that's a new thing that I'm testing for my clients. I also am wanting to build an AI, and I already figured out how to do that, like the system to help people get leads online even more easily. So I'm actually going to hire somebody today to start building. I do want to get some software. I want to be a software developer for certain problems that I know that can make things easier for coaches and even other people. And what else am I working? So I'm building the podcast and working out this new monetization model. And I want to build an AI platform app that helps my clients even get clients more easily.
Got a lot going on, and it's all going towards that same goal, which is
Right.
great to see.
Yeah. There's one more thing that I'm doing is I am wanting to work on that bigger vision now. And that's cooking a bit. I want to create some sort of platform or even an event where it's like practically free and it's for everybody. And I'm going to get guests that show people how to how you can make money for people that aren't articulate, that aren't coaches. Because, if you're a coach, you have to be sort of articulate and presentable. There's a lot of people in the world that maybe don't speak the language they're living in the country of, very well. They need to make money too. So I want to create this thing for all people I'm thinking of doing this huge event where it's free. People can come, where it's online, of course. But then I was thinking, what could I do with that? That could be a whole movement where for once a coach is doing something with nothing offered. Like there's going to be no offer. That would be revolutionary, where we create this and we're not selling anything at all. So that's my goal, is just to see that. And then I could create a very low subscription because, people have to pay something. But for the event, and I could just worldwide event, and we could do it. You see, there's a way now when people speak of having people hear it in their own language. There's a new Google application. So I'm thinking of using that. So I'm thinking that could be really very impactful, and just see what happens.
Oh, you're giving out, and then something will come back,
No, even if nothing came back,
Yeah.
I'm good. I have a multi-million-dollar company. Do you know what I mean? Like this would be that there is zero stress involved in that. It's just to do it and see how we can help people. And I was thinking at some point there could be, it wouldn't be very much monetization. It's not for the monetization. It's that they have to pay something to value it, something very low cost that then they're in, and then we get other experts that are just really good at solutions of how anybody can make money, especially with AI. In the age of AI, there's going to be problems. People can't get jobs. So I'm always racking my brains. How can we help people make money who aren't articulate, that can't coach, that just need to bring money in sitting at home? How do we do that? So I'm always looking in solutions, and I meet people that say, I do have solutions for that. So I'm thinking of just inviting some people in, and we're all going to be on the same page. I actually have an organization. It's a not-for-profit that I've never used before. It's called impactdriven.org. Okay. I've never used it, but I just got it in case. And I thought, I already have a not-for-profit for this. So it's interesting that I got that and never did anything with it. So it's kind of been in the back of my mind for a while. But anyway, it would be people that get it and say, sure, I'm going to turn up and I don't care. I'm not going to sell anything. People will say yes to this.
From all the stories we've heard today and from watching you online, you have a YouTube, you have Instagram, you have Facebook. People can check you out in different platforms. You've learned a lot of new skills and grown yourself as you're building this business to help other people build their business. What's one of the most fun skills you've learned on this journey?
I think the fun skill is how to help people make money. That's the most fun for me. Like coaching people, and then they make money. I'm like, wow, that person just said, hey, Jeanne, I just got a $20,000 client. Or, hey, Jeanne, since working with you for 7 weeks, I've made $200,000. Or, hey, Jeanne, I got my very first client. I'm so excited. I mean, I don't live for that, but that's definitely a big joy in my life that, wow, me and my team, we are so instrumental in actually changing people's lives, because that is life changing, that you have a key now and you can just open that door every time you want and bring cash in and help people. It's magical, and it's a miracle that we can do this so easily, because the online everything, people take it for granted. So that's the fun part is, hey, we can use these free tools, which are free for now, talking to people. They might charge later, and we can reach anybody in the world and help them help people and make money, and they make money. Beautiful. That's fun.
That is fun. And if you're passionate about something, which I'm feeling it through here, if you're passionate about something, that beast mode and that hunger to keep going and growing seems like it's just fueling you.
It definitely is. And I keep progressing. So I did do the same thing for a while. I did make the program better, but for a while it was just like, this is just working. Leave it for a while. Just keep doing the same thing. I didn't immediately go, oh my goodness, now I have to do this. Nope, this is working. I actually took a long time to start my podcast on purpose. I wanted to get a clearing, a little bit of a clearing, really think about it. And it was just, I'm just doing the podcast. It wasn't this stressful. It was a passion project. I make a lot of money from my podcast, even though it was not about coaching. It's not a lead mag. It is about business, wealth, and impact, because that's what I thought. I'm just going to make something I really care about. Sure enough, it monetized on its own. I've gotten a lot of clients just by people, even though we're not, it's not about coaches. So it hasn't been this thing of, now I got to do something new. It's really, now I'm ready. Now what do I integrate? Okay, integrate that. Okay. Now I'm like, okay, I do want to build this software to start using AI more. And that's fine. That'll take a bit. I'm not stressed about that. I'm not desperate that gets done tomorrow. So I like the fact that I have projects that just working on, and it's not like I have to get this done right now or I'm not making any money.
All right. I'm going to hit you with some rapid fire questions before we do a final takeaway for the crowd. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Morning routine must have.
Kind of exercise.
One belief that changed everything for you.
Money is just a number. You just have to change the number.
And then finish this sentence. Growth happens when
you get focused and passionate.
Awesome. We ask that for every guest, and it's different for everybody. And I love hearing what fuels everybody's growth. All right. So no matter what age or your situation, there's always time to grow. You are proof. If you could leave the folks listening or watching with one piece of advice, what would it be?
The piece of advice is, you are worthy and ready right now. Stop waiting to be worthy. You're worthy. Stop waiting to be ready. You are ready. That is what got me where I am. If not now, when?
Even if you're in an IKEA, get it done. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll link to all of your accounts below so people can check it out. And we look forward to watching you grow and hitting that 100 coaches to 1 million.
Thanks, Chelsea.